Hello everyone, in this video we will be providing some instructions for submitting, printing, and mailing your state and federal income tax returns. If you have any questions after watching the entire video, please contact Sprintax through their live chat feature for further assistance. Now let's jump into the first section. Section 1. Preparing to submit your income tax return. The first thing before submitting your tax returns through Sprintax is reviewing your filing. Take a moment to carefully examine all the information you have entered for your tax return in each section of Sprintax. Once you have reviewed everything, it's time to pay for your tax return filings. When given the option of which services you want to pay for, select State and Federal. You can remove any other unnecessary services. You should pay only for the state income tax return, but you can avoid paying for the federal income tax return by entering the waiver code sent to you via email by the International Student Services. Please pause the video for a few seconds and look for this email containing this federal free code. You're back now. Please enter the code at the moment of paying, submit your return, and stay with us for the next section. Section 2. Downloading and printing before mailing. Once you have submitted your tax returns through Sprintax, you are not done just yet. The end goal is for you to mail your return filings physically to the appropriate agencies. We will talk more about mailing in the next section, but for now, let's get our documents ready for that. First, after submitting everything, Sprintax will direct you to the documents that need to be downloaded and printed. If you were successful in paying for both federal and state filings, Sprintax generates one document for each. Download both files, the state and the federal, to your computer and save them where you can access them for future needs. As a side note, keep in mind that Sprintax saves these documents in their system so that you can go back in the future at any time and download them if needed. However, we strongly suggest you to download them to your computer for easier access. Before you click on the print button, listen to the following instructions carefully. First, print all federal and state tax documents 2 times. Make sure you choose the one-sided option when printed. This means do not print on front and back. Among the 2 downloaded files, some are instruction pages and copy pages. You only need to print them once. In case you are confused about this, let's take a look at what these pages look like. In the federal packet, there are pages at the beginning that say Instruction page only, do not mail with your tax return, in the upper right corner. They are followed by the actual return filing documents that you should print twice. After that, you have the copy pages, which are copies for you to keep for your own records. They have the word copy across the page in the background. In the state document, there is a similar format. The first pages say, do not mail with your return across the page in the background. Then, they are followed again by the actual return pages that you should print twice. At the end, you have the copy pages for your own record with the copy word in the background across the page. In summary, if the pages say instructions only, or do not mail with your return, or copy, you only need to print them once. If the page does not have any of those words, They need to be printed twice. Section 3. Mailing your tax return filing. You made it to the last step of this process. For this, you will need scissors, blue pen if possible, paper clips, the federal income tax return and the state income tax return packets you just printed copies of the tax forms you received, for example, the W-2, the 1042-S, the 1099, etc. Everyone will have something different. 2 yellow envelopes. You can stop by the International Student Services office for this. If you are not on campus, they are just regular manila envelopes, stamps. We will talk about how many stamps you need in one of our last steps later. You need to know that you are going to mail the federal and the state return filings in 2 separate envelopes. For this reason, you will hear us using the term federal envelope and state envelope when referring to them. Let's start with the federal envelope. First, find the federal tax return checklist on the 3rd page. This page will look different for each student. Under the first section, look at the form and action table and sign the forms when instructed to do so. For example, for this student, he has 3 forms. The action for the first form, the 1040NR, says sign on page 2. So we need to find that form in this packet after the instruction pages and sign it in the 2nd page in the box that says sign here. Once that is done, return to the checklist and follow the next action steps for each form. Under the 2nd section, you can see which documents you need to include with this packet in the column of Income Document. Gather all of these documents listed to be mailed with the federal envelope. Let's discuss first the W-2 income form. Remember, not everyone will have this, but if you have it, you need to know that there are 4 identical sections on the W-2 with a bold notation at the bottom left of each section that indicates which section goes where. Cut each section by the dashed lines. Grab copy B as stated in the section 2 of the checklist to mail with the federal packet, unless specified otherwise in your own checklist, since this might look different for everyone. Now let's see the 1042S. There are 3 identical sections on the 1042S form that you will need to cut at the end of each section. They are marked with the bold labels copy B, copy C. Each label also explains which section goes where. Grab copy C as stated in the section 2 of the checklist to mail with the federal packet, unless specified otherwise in your own checklist, since this may look different for everyone. Now, if you have any other documents received, such as a 1099 or others, they should be included with the federal packet as well. Follow the instructions in the checklist to know which copy you need to include with your federal packet. If for some reason you are required to attach a document that only has 1 section, make sure to make and save a copy of that form for any future needs and for your own records. Mail only the original documents. Let's double check we have all the documents we need to include in this federal envelope. First, the specified section of the W-2, the specified section of the 1042S, the specified section of any other income documents, 1 set of the federal income tax return pages that you printed twice. As a side note, the 2nd copy will be included with the state envelope, 1 set of the state income tax return pages that you printed twice. Again, the 2nd copy will be included with the state envelope. Once you have all necessary documents, paper clip them together like this. Place them in the envelope provided by the International Student Services, which should be addressed to the Department of Treasury. If you are preparing the envelope on your own, include the following address in this format. Close and seal the envelope. Write your Hayes mailing address or your current residential address at the top left corner as the sender address. Set this envelope aside and wait to finish the state envelope. Once both the federal and state envelopes are ready, we will talk about adding the appropriate stamps and mailing them at the same time. Let's move on to the state envelope. You will follow a similar process for this. First, find the state tax return checklist on the third page. This page will look different for each student. Under the first section, look at the form action table and sign the forms when instructed to do so in the same way you did for the federal packet. Under the second section, you can see which documents you need to include with this packet in the column Supporting Documents. Gather all of these documents listed to be mailed with the state envelope. Knowing that the W-2 and the 1042S and other income documents have sections that you cut earlier, gather the sections needed for the state envelope. For example, copy 2 of the W-2 and copy D of the 1042S forms. Remember that these could be different for each student, so double check before including them in the envelope. If you receive any other documents, follow the instructions from the checklist and from the document itself to know which copy goes where. Let's double check we have all the documents we need to include in this state envelope. First, the specified section of the W-2, the specified section of the 1042S, the specified section of any other income documents, one set of the federal income tax return pages that you printed twice. Side note, the second copy you already included with the federal envelope. One set of the state income tax return pages that you printed twice. Again, the second copy you already included with the federal envelope. Once you have all necessary documents, paperclip them together like this. Place them in the envelope provided by the International Student Services, which should be addressed to the Kansas Department of Revenue. If you are preparing the envelope on your own, include the following address in this format. Close and seal the envelope. Now you also have the state envelope ready to mail it. Grab the federal envelope you set aside earlier, and let's put the appropriate stamps. If you do not know how many stamps you need, go to the Memorial Union mailroom for assistance. Where they are going to weight both envelopes and tell you how many stamps you need for each envelope. You can buy the stamps needed at the Student Service Desk on the first floor of the Union. Take both envelopes to your closest post office. If you are on campus, you can do this through the mailing services at the Student Service Desk located in the Memorial Union. If you need any further assistance, contact Sprintax with the live chat feature. They also have frequently asked question pages on their website that are for you to review. If there are any questions beyond the instructions provided in this video or the Sprintax resources, please make an appointment with the International Student Services. With that, we say goodbye for now. Thank you for watching.